Welcome to your NLC Library tutorial on how to format your student paper in APA style 7th edition. To start, let's open up a new document in our word processor. The word processor I'm using is the 2019 version of Microsoft Word. So the first thing we'll want to do is make sure that our page has 1-inch margins on all sides. So I'm just going to check under Layout and the Margins tab to make sure that I'm on the normal setting. This is usually the default setting in Microsoft Word. So the normal setting has our margins at 1 inch top, 1 inch left, 1 inch bottom, and 1 inch right. So that's perfect. Next, we'll want to make sure that we're using a font that is easy to read. The 7th edition of the APA style guide does not specify a certain font to use. It just has to be easy to read. So Calibri will work. That's usually the default setting in Word. We could also use Times New Roman or Arial or Georgia. And as for the font size, 11-point font will be just right in most cases. If the font is looking a little bit big, you might want to size down. If it's looking a little small, you might want to go up to size 12. But size 11 should be about right most of the time. We'll also want to make sure that all of our text is double spaced. So I'm just going to open up my paragraph menu and take a look. So under spacing, the before and after should both read 0 point. And then under line spacing, I'm going to choose double. So that should ensure that all of our paper is double spaced, but you might need to check again at the end just to make sure. So now it's time to add our title. So this being page 1 of our APA style paper, this page is going to be the title page. So everything on this title page is going to be centered, so we'll make sure that we have that selected. Although we do want to make sure that everything on this title page is in the top half of the page, I'm just going to hit enter a couple of times just to give us a little bit of space at the top of the page. So our title is going to be in boldface, so you can use your keyboard function or you can click bold to make sure that it's bolded. And now I'm just going to write the title of my paper, then a colon, and then the subtitle of the paper. If your title and subtitle bleed over into another line, then that's completely okay, although the APA style guide does recommend that you keep your title to 2 lines only. Any longer than that and it's getting a little bit too long. So now I'm just going to hit enter a few times just to give our title a little bit of breathing room. And the rest of the information on this page is not going to be bolded, so I'm just going to deselect that, or you can use your keyboard function, whichever works for you. And the next thing we're going to write is our first name and last name. On the next line, we will write the name of our institution, in our case, Northern Lakes College. If you want to, you can add the name of your department before your institution name, like you could say Department of Psychology, colon, and then your institution name. But here at Northern Lakes College, for the most part, you'll just need the name of the institution. The next line is going to be our course name, so we'll start with the shortened version. We'll say we're in Psych 2010, then a colon, and then we'll type out the name of the course. In this case, Psych 2010 here at Northern Lakes College is Developmental Psychology. The next line is going to be our instructor's name. And lastly, we will write the date. And just a note on the date, if you're writing a paper in APA format, you'll always want to write the date exactly like this, with the month written out in full, February, don't abbreviate the title of the month. Then the date is just the number, don't add any TH or RD or anything, it's just the numeral. Then a comma, and then the year, in this case 2023. The last thing I'm going to do before I move on is make sure that I add page numbers. So in general, APA style dictates that your title page is page 1 of your paper. So I'm going to go insert a page number. According to the APA style guide, your page numbers should always be at the top of the page and in the right-hand corner. And we don't need to add anything else, it's just the page number. So in order to get out of this little header that's appeared, we'll just double click anywhere on the page. And that's it for our title page. So I'm just going to hit enter to go down and take us to page 2 of our paper. And you'll notice that the numbering has followed us. It's continued onto page 2. That's perfect. That's exactly what we want. So I'm going to show you what an abstract page will look like, although you will only need an abstract page if your instructor has requested it. Most papers here at Northern Lakes College will not require an abstract page, but if you are asked to make one, it should look like this. Just like with our title, we're going to bold the text and just type the word abstract at the top center of the page. Then we can take away the bolding for the next line and also align our text with the left margin. And then we can start typing our abstract. Unlike the rest of our paper, the abstract paragraph will not be indented. So if you are not asked to include an abstract page, then page 2 will actually just be the first page of your paper. We'll still want to add the title though at the top center of the page and in boldface. We'll once again just type out the title of our paper and then the subtitle of our paper. We can hit enter and then we can start typing up our paper. Make sure that you indent each new paragraph in your paper, including this first one. Okay, now that we've finished typing up our whole paper, I'm just going to take us to our final page. So the final page of your paper should always be your reference page. And just like the other sections of our paper, we're going to add a title in the center of the page in boldface. And in this case, we'll just type the word references. And now we can add our references that we used in our paper. I'm going to pull a couple of examples from the library website so that I can show you what your references should look like once they're added to your reference page. Now when I paste a citation into my Word document, instead of using my keyboard function, I'm going to right-click and choose Keep Text Only. Otherwise, we can get some pretty strange formatting issues. You'll also want to double check your references to italicize the parts that should be italicized and to make sure that the rest of the formatting is correct. We also need to make sure that we organize our references in alphabetic order by author last name. So I'm just going to move McKinley up above Tam. Now we need to apply a hanging indent. I recommend waiting until you've added all of your references to your reference page before applying the hanging indent, just so that you don't have to reformat them over and over again. So a hanging indent just means that the first line of each new reference will be aligned at the left-hand margin, but all of the other lines will be indented. The easiest way to do this is to highlight your entire reference page and open up your paragraph menu. Then under indentation, select hanging. The default should be 0.5 and that is correct. You can also do this by pressing the Tab key on each line after the first line of each reference, but this is the easiest and the most reliable way to do it. And there's your reference page. If you've been following along with this video and you have your first couple of pages and your reference page all formatted and ready to go, I recommend saving this document as a template file so that you can reuse it with each new paper. So to do that, when you hit Save, you'll actually want to hit Save As and find the location where you'd like to save your document. And then under Save As Type, instead of saving as a Word document, we can just head down a little bit and save as a Word template. This way you can reuse this template every time you write a new essay and you won't have to reset all of your formatting every time. This concludes this how-to video on how to format your student paper in APA style 7th edition. For more help on formatting and citation, check out our Citation Help tab on the NLC Library website, or set up a meeting with the college tutor.